Hi, my name is Wayne Knapp and I'm the Safety Administrator for the Presbyterian Church of Queensland. This safety presentation is based on the requirements of the Queensland Building Fire Safety Regulations for the Cairns Presbyterian Church. The church is located at Sheridan Street, Cairns, and the complex consists of two buildings, the church and the hall at the rear of the church. In this presentation, we will look at the location of the firefighting equipment, the use of the firefighting equipment, the escape routes, exits and assembly areas, and the evacuation procedure itself. As part of this procedure, we will look at the specific duties of event leaders and assistants. A full version of the church fire and evacuation plan is available from the Safety Administrator and is also available on your Elvanto. In the church, there are two fire extinguishers and one fire blanket. In the kitchen, there is an extinguisher and a blanket located near the door, which exits from the kitchen. And then there is another fire extinguisher and a fire reel located on the left-hand side of the auditorium as you face the pulpit. Both of the fire extinguishers in the church are a powder chemical extinguisher, and they're identifiable by the white band. This contains a powdered substance that, when discharged, can be used on most classes of fire. To operate the extinguisher, you pull the pin, which is this pin here. You aim the nozzle, which is here, and you squeeze the trigger, which is this part here, and you sweep the fire side to side. When you pull the pin, you hold the extinguisher upright and twist the pin to break the seal. Once this is done, pull the pin to release the trigger, and this will allow you to discharge the extinguisher. Aim the nozzle before approaching the fire, and it's a good idea to test the extinguisher first. Once this has been done, aim the nozzle at the base of the fire, and by doing this you'll hit the fuel source. If you aim at the flames, the powder will go right through and have little effect at all. You squeeze the trigger by pulling the two handles together, and this releases the pressurised extinguishing agent. And you sweep from side to side. Start using the extinguisher from a safe distance away and then slowly move forward. And it is important to continue to sweep the fire until it is completely out. Fire blankets are used to put out fires that cannot be extinguished with water alone, and also to save people whose clothing might be on fire. The fire blanket, as I said, is located in the kitchen, round behind the door and beside the exit door. To use the blanket, you first need to remove it from the wall, and you do this by pulling down the two white tabs at the bottom. Unfold the blanket until it is completely open, and hold the blanket with your hands wrapped in the top of the blanket. This will protect you from flames. Cover the flames completely with the fire blanket by throwing or placing the blanket on top of the fire and leaving it there until the fire goes out. Let the blanket cool completely for 30 minutes to an hour, and as most blankets are designed to be reused, can then be folded and returned to the wall-mounted holder. The final rule to remember, regardless of what equipment you use to fight a fire, is to always position yourself with an exit or means of escape before you attempt to put out the fire. I now look at the escape routes and assembly areas and exits. It is important that you're familiar with the escape routes. And in the auditorium, just to get you orientated, the pulpit is to the front of the building. There is an exit which is signed to the right as you face the pulpit. There is another exit to the left as you face the pulpit, and there is also an exit which is the main entrance to the church through the original church building. Again, it is signed with an exit light. So the primary exit is through the church, out through the front of the church, and the assembly area is located at 100 Sheridan Street, Cairns, and that is accessed when you leave the church by walking to the footpath and then turning left and walking down the footpath towards Florence Street. The exit from the hall is the same procedure. The hall is the building coming into visibility at the back of the church. This is where the Sunday school is, and the exit for that is through the door which is partially opened. Once all occupants of the church have been moved safely to the assembly area, a roll call is to be completed, and occupants will wait for further instructions. Under no circumstances is anyone to re-enter the building until after the all clear has been given. If you are directed to an alternate assembly point, do not attempt to move unless you're instructed to do so. The evacuation procedure. If you are the first person to locate a fire, alert the group leader, and if it is safe to do so, attempt to extinguish the fire, remembering to make sure you have a clear exit before doing so. Meanwhile, other members of the group should prepare to evacuate. On hearing an evacuation instruction, immediately cease all activities, and only if it is safe to do so, switch off any appliances, equipment and machinery. Assist any person experiencing difficulty with the evacuation. Take a quick look to your left and right and see who is sitting nearby, and walk quickly and calmly to the assembly area via the nearest exit. At the assembly area, form into groups to assist the leader to ensure everyone has been safely evacuated, and report to the leader if you cannot locate the person that was to your left or right before you left the building. Again, under no account do you re-enter the building. Remain at the assembly area then until otherwise instructed, and if for any reason you need to leave before the all clear is given, please let the leader know that you are leaving. If you are the evacuation coordinator or person leading an activity or program, there are additional duties to be performed as part of the evacuation process. Firstly, you need to investigate the fire situation, and if there is any doubt regarding whether there is a fire, call the fire service immediately. You need to ensure the safe evacuation of all occupants from the building and account for all occupants at the assembly area. You need to ensure that occupants do not attempt to re-enter the building until it is safe to do so, and you need to meet the fire service and advise them of any information relevant to the emergency. As there are a number of tasks to be completed, it may be necessary to share these duties between attendees to ensure a safe evacuation. These duties include checking the hall and toilets, and checking each room. If any room or building is unable to be entered, the emergency services are to be advised on their arrival, and this will be the first area they will inspect. It is recommended that the evacuation coordinator or person leading an activity allocate tasks at the beginning of each event. In the case of the Cairns Church, these tasks have been pre-allocated to the Committee of Management members and elders. That concludes the Cairns Church Fire and Evacuation Instruction presentation. If you have any questions about any of the information given in this presentation, please contact me at Church Office. Thank you.